Also thinking about itself and serving its own interest is Turkey. The war in Ukraine was bad news for Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He was caught between a rock and a hard place. If he backs Ukraine, he could lose a key ally and a weapons market. If he backs Russia, he'll turn the entire NATO against him. So Turkey has decided to turn this crisis into an opportunity to try and mediate in this conflict. Here's a report.
Erdogan hasn't had the best time in Ukraine. In 2017, he visited Kiev and met with Petro Poroshenko, the then Ukrainian president. Both leaders appeared for a press conference. At this crucial moment, Erdogan fell asleep. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. That embarrassing moment 5 years ago hasn't stopped Erdogan from taking on a challenge. The Turkish president wants to mediate in the Ukraine crisis. It's a noble cause, also a tricky balancing act that Erdogan is trying to accomplish in public. When Ukraine was attacked, Erdogan said the invasion was unjustified.
Turkey supports Ukraine's battle to protect its territorial integrity.
But when Russia was sanctioned, the Turkish president condemned what he called the witch hunting of Russia.
We do not accept witch hunt practices against the Russian people, Russian literature, Russian students and artists.
The Turkish president is caught in a bind. He cannot antagonize Russia. At the same time, he cannot go against his allies in NATO. So Erdogan is trying to play both sides by bringing them to the negotiating table. Turkey wants to dictate the outcome of this war, and for good reason. Erdogan doesn't want to be forced to choose sides under any circumstances. There are two issues that bother Turkey. Problem number one is Ukraine's bid for a NATO membership. If Ukraine joins NATO, Turkey will be forced to come to its defense. If NATO chooses to back Ukraine militarily, Turkey will have to comply again. In both situations, Turkey will be forced to fight its friend, Russia. This is an outcome that Erdogan wants to avoid. Problem number two is the Montreux Convention of 1936. It's a treaty that gives Turkey the control over passage of warships in the Black Sea. In the event of a war, Turkey can block the passage of Russian warships. Once again, Erdogan doesn't want to make that choice, because it could get dragged into the war. So, before the conflict spills over, Turkey has stepped in to mediate. It hosted the foreign ministers of Ukraine and Russia yesterday. Erdogan is also pursuing a détente with Israel. The Turkish president hosted his Israeli counterpart in Ankara. Both leaders used the occasion to discuss the situation in Ukraine. Even the White House is consulting with Erdogan. He had a phone call with US President Joe Biden. The Turkish president is keen to work with the United States again. He wants American sanctions to be lifted. It's been quite a turnaround for Erdogan. Until a few weeks ago, Turkey was sanctioned and grey-listed for terror sponsorship. Struggling with a failing economy, now it's a mediator in the biggest political and military crisis in Europe, and is talking to Arabs and Israelis. It's a big opportunity for Erdogan. A truce in Ukraine would boost his prospects both at home and abroad. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.